I want to bring in Connie Hill-Johnson. She works for Visiting Angels, which is the nation's largest in-home care company helping families that are dealing with dementia. It is hard work, it's important work, and you're kind of angels on earth, Connie. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
In terms of the kinds of symptoms that we need to be aware of when dementia is beginning to arrive in a person, what are the symptoms we should look for?
Well, first, Michaela, thank you so much for having me. And I am thrilled because I'm approaching this from a personal standpoint, having had a mom who has dementia and also being a provider with Visiting Angels. But the things that the average adult daughter, adult son, family member might see is increasing confusion, depression, difficulty carrying out daily tasks, difficulty following instructions. Those are generally the first indications that something might be going on. Short-term memory loss is a big one that is typically what a family member might see initially when they might ask, what did you have for breakfast? And mom or dad doesn't remember.
Well, and Connie, you know this firsthand. As a loved one, you're often the first line of defense. You're the caregiver most days. You spend the most amount of time with the person, and our old relationships and how we get along and the mother-daughter or sibling relationship can affect that. We have to be careful that we're not necessarily triggering it or making things worse. What can we do to, I don't know, help not set them off, if you will?
And that's an excellent question because, again, I ended up looking back on so many things that I did with my own mom that I felt bad about in terms of giving out 4 instructions at the same time, saying, Mom, brush your teeth, and then button your blouse, and then don't forget to go downstairs, and beginning to recognize that she could not process multiple commands at the same time. So that's one of the first things that I tell families now who are faced with this journey of caring for someone with memory loss or dementia is be very specific, but give one direction at a time before moving to the next one. I think another one is moving them into a different environment. We're quick to say, mom's gonna go live with someone else, or we're gonna get dad out of his house and put him in an apartment. Well, if dad has been in the same apartment or home for 40 years, even though he has memory loss, he knows that place. I remember my mom saying, this is not my home, but she immediately knew where the bathroom was. She could walk off the front porch and go to the closet, but yet it was not her home. But she was familiar with that particular house she lived in for over 40 years.
And you give other tips. Don't say things like remember, be positive, say let's go here instead of don't go there. These little things may seem small to you, but they can make the world of difference. One of the last points I want to make, oftentimes when someone has onset of dementia, they'll try and hide some of the symptoms from you, won't they?
Absolutely. And again, you have to be very astute and watching. They will let's say health problems set in and they become incontinent. They'll hide their clothes if they're soiled. They will throw away a meal and tell you they've eaten their complete meal. They'll hide their medication and you think they've taken it. So you really need to be astute, and someone needs to be there an extended amount of time. That's the importance of having caregivers, whether it's a family caregiver or even someone from an outside company, to begin to observe those changes in behaviors and patterns.
Connie Hill-Johnson has learned a lot from her own voyage with her own loved ones, and she's sharing those things with us now. We're so grateful for that. Thank you, Connie.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure.